Hello, everyone. Welcome to 14 Minutes of Fame with Misty Henkel. Today we have the wonderful Coleman from Sensory Hairstyles. McKaela's down in Central Coast, so between Newcastle and Sydney. And will you tell me or all of us what Sensory Hairstyles is? What is it that you do? Because it's
So
very
I'm
cool.
a mobile hairdresser, and I dedicate myself to working with adults and children with disabilities that have fears and anxieties around haircuts, and that those who can't get to a salon for physical reasons or mental health or um, a bed bound sort of thing. So yeah, try and
I
help
think
those
that's
that are in need.
I think that's really cool. I remember when my boys were first getting haircuts, and so I think Simon just used to cut their hair. He used to just buzz cut the whole thing, and then we'd be in a mall, and we'd go past the hairdressers, and they go, "You could go and get your hair cut." And particularly with Noah, Noah had really like his curls. So I think
Oh,
Michael Jackson curls when he grows that out.
beautiful.
They're stunning and big ringlets. And then Jack, he went from having white, invisible hair, like white,
Oh,
invisible hair that was so fine that when he went to daycare and if nits broke out, gone, is there something I should be doing? And they've gone, oh no, we'd see it all over him. Like he's fine. Like his hair is so invisible, we'd see everything. And then he got to about two, I think. And then Simon shaved his head and he was stunning. Like he had this buzz cut. He was so cute. But his hair grew back. It's like still wool. Like it grew back like Fijian curly
wow.
white.
Yep.
And so every day he washes his hair every day with conditioner, whether or not he
No.
washes it, but he just conditions it every day. He goes, it's the only way I can soften it up.
Yes.
So it's really bizarre. And Simon only lets it get so long, and then Simon, cuts it. And I'm going, really like I want you to just keep growing bigger, Jack, so that then you can overpower Dad and say no. And let's see what happens if you like full on grow it, because I think it's
Grow,
getting like a
yeah.
big white afro.
Beautiful.
So my
Oh,
dad used to have like this afro. He's got a bit of New Zealand descent in him, and he used to have this afro. And then well, I suppose when he was about 27, he had cancer, and then all his hair came out with chemo. And then when it grew
oh,
back, he still had some curls, but it didn't grow back the same way. And
yeah.
and he used to plaster it down, trying to keep the curls out. They'd like be a wave through it, but his came back as like normal hair. And
Oh, bless.
yeah, just odd stuff. Like hair is just odd stuff. And I know there was a girl I went to school with who apparently she had dead straight hair until puberty. So when she was about 12 or 13, all of a sudden it turned into afro curls.
Yep, yep. Hormones do it to you, medication, it all messes with your hair. It's
Yeah, yeah. So, but I do know that every now and then, so bringing it back to what you do with the sensory stuff, like every now and then we'd say to the boys, oh, look, there's a hairdresser's. Why don't we take you in? And
right.
you'd have to be at a hairdresser's that had the car there. So they thought they were driving the car and then load them up with lollipops and then they'd be crying and screaming. I think with Jack, he didn't like the sound of the clippers or anything.
Yeah,
He doesn't like the sound there. And I
yeah.
notice, when they say you have a dog and your dog takes on the personality of the owner, we have a golden retriever. We have two, but the main golden retriever, the big one, Terry, he's taken on personality traits of each person in the house,
Oh,
or he appears to have them. And sound wise, if you wash him, like he's kind of fine with being washed. He's golden retriever. He likes to get wet
yep.
himself. He doesn't necessarily like to be washed. But if you put water anywhere near his head and ears, he seems to sort of revolt on it. And I look at him and I think, Jack has that same issue.
Yeah,
And like to put water into a big, like a bathtub or a pool out the back, he's fine if the hose is underneath the water. But the
yep.
moment it comes out and it hits the edge of the pool, he's like, and I'm
Yep.
like, yeah, you've got that same sound thing that Jack has. So that used to be an issue with Jack. I think it was the sound, but he didn't mind the haircut.
Yep.
No, it
A
was
lot of kids, the vibration around their ears, especially if they've had hearing like adenoids and grommets and things like that, or lots of ear infections, the vibration of the clippers is amplified within your head because it's right on the bone. So it does actually trigger a lot of sensory overload in there.
Of course. And your ultimate goal really is to, when you go and do this mobile stuff, is to get the kids used to it so that as they get bigger, they can move themselves sideways into a salon
So, yep.
and get done in a salon.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's cool because,
Thank you.
well, you know what, it's kind of nice to have somebody come over and do your hair all the time, but, to be able to just walk past one and go, oh, let's just get our hair done. I know my boys, because Simon does it, but every now and then they say, I'd like to go to a hairdresser, I'd like to go to a barber. No, it cost me like over $80 in products just the last time we went, which was a couple of months ago. And it's not that I wanted to spend it. However, he went in and he said to the girl, he had the choice of the barber or the hairdresser. He went to both and he questioned them both based off the picture. And then
Excellent.
he went away for a couple of days, made an informed decision, said, I think I'll do the hairdresser. So he
Yeah.
goes in, talks to the girl and says, this is what I'm after. Can you do that with my hair? And she said, I can. However, you'll need some product. He pretty much said, load me up, mum will pay. And I've gone, it just is what it is, I suppose.
That's
And
it.
leaving, I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure he's not going to use that much of it because I know that hair doesn't do what you want it to do when you leave the salon. It
Yeah.
just doesn't, regardless of the stuff. But for Noah, he does get into things like he then Googles it and he tests it out. So he locks himself in the bathroom for hours and he tests it out, and then he has another shower and he tests it out, and then he tries it different times a day. Then he Googles it to see where he's going wrong. He won't ask questions,
Oh,
but he will go to Google, Dr.
yeah.
Google, where am I going wrong? He'll try things out. And so
But
every
that's
now and
good.
then he pulls that stuff.
He's building his self-confidence and his awareness and, practicing what he likes and dislikes. So that's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
thing.
It's kind of cool. And as I was saying to you earlier, I've gone, there's that whole payment thing versus, at the end of our life, that becomes the story that we get to talk about. Remember that time that Noah was 12 and he got right into hair? I mean, he Googles how often should you wash your hair, particularly for a 12-year-old or for a kid? How many times a week? Is there a particular day that's better than the others? How long you keep the shampoo in? How long you keep the conditioner in? Like, I mean, all of it. He goes through this big ritual. He's forever in the bathroom or in the shower. And it's like, okay, you've been in there 40 minutes. Oh, hang on, I forgot to wash my hair. It's been 40 minutes. And the kid doesn't know time, and then it's going to go like, I know he's counting 2 minutes for that one, then he's going to do a second one, then he's going to go 3 minutes for the conditioner. He
Yeah.
doesn't, the clock doesn't work in there anymore. He's going to start counting it. He's going to start talking to him and say, oh my God. But if only he just
So
brushed
good.
it, it'd be shining. But he tells me, fluffy, she got good, it'd be fine. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good. It's all about building up those lifetime grooming habits to be able to look
Mm.
after yourself when you do leave home and become independent and learning, about your self-awareness and what makes you feel good and look good. So
Yeah, yeah, I do. I think from networking, I really learn a lot from networking and meeting so many different people. And every now and then a hairdresser will come out or a beautician will come out. And back in the day, so going back, we get a lot of women out networking now. So they came out and then stayed out, which kind of swamped the men. But initially, going back 10 years ago when I was started networking, there'd be a few women out. And there was one in particular, it was a beautician. And she said, like, I'm the only girl. And I said, you're in the best spot. You get to teach the men why they're
mm,
supposed to say to their wives, thank you so much for going out of your way for looking beautiful today. I mean, you look stunning before, but I mean, you like me and the world thanks you for it. So you're in that position where you get to teach them how to speak to their wives and say thank you rather than, God, I don't understand why you spent money on that.
yes.
So I teach my boys. I mean, I've had my legs back since I was 14 because I had an aunt who was a beautician and she said, this is how it's going to be. So that's how it's always been for me. And when the boys were little, used to go over to that beautician's house and it'd be a party for them because we'd be there for about 3 hours and the boys would watch a movie, they'd have McDonald's, they'd have chips, they'd have freckles, they'd have, all this stuff. And because Rachel and I would get my legs waxed and we'd be chatting and talking work, business stuff. And then every now and then one of the kids would come in and ask questions. And after a while, they'd ask on the drive home, they'd say, what are you doing in there? I'm getting my legs waxed. And they'd say, what is
How
that?
does that?
And I said,
Yeah.
think of it like warm honey's been smeared on my legs and then a really big band-aid's been put on it and then it's ripped off and it rips the hair out of the legs. And they've gone, It sounds like it hurts. Yeah, it kind of does. And they've gone, well, why would you do it then? I said, because women don't want to look like men. So we take the hair off.
That's it.
That's the easiest way. So we definitely need it before we go swimming. I said, but here's what you need to know. And so then I feed the information into them.
Yeah,
It's really expensive, but your wife is going to want to do this. And every day that she does it, you just turn around and say, wow, you were already beautiful, but I thank you, and so does the rest of the world, for going the extra mile and looking absolutely stunning. You're amazing. Keep at
that's
it.
it.
Right?
Yes.
That's how you speak. So even now, and the boys have made it to 12 and 14, but I know that my birthday's in January, and every year we go on water slides. So it's about a week
Yay.
or so beforehand, and Nara will say, right, we're going to the water slides for Mum's birthday. Right, let's just check. Mum, do you need your legs waxed? All right, it's really expensive. Who's got some money? It needs to happen now.
Oh,
And you go, you know what? That's kind of cool.
that is there.
So
That's
their
very
wives will
considerate.
thank me. Yeah, their wives will
Yeah,
thank me. So, if someone puts on makeup or lipstick or they take their time, you just say, wow, you're amazing. You were
yeah,
great before, and yet you're so amazing.
listen, yeah.
Thank you for going the extra effort. Because,
That's
we all need the encouragement, like the encouragement. We don't need to
yeah.
be ripped down all the time.
No.
And so I think that's cool what you do
Thank
uh,
you.
in regards to that. And so you were saying too that where you're at, you also do some assisted living and go in and see
Yeah,
some
so
of your, like, great grandparents in there and help them with their
yeah,
hair as well.
I see from toddlers right through to 90-year-olds. Yeah, and that's the part about a hairdressing I like, is having a diverse clientele, because everyone's always got a story to tell.
Yeah,
So it
100%.
it
100%.
makes life interesting when you get to hear and listen to it. And a lot of the time for the elderly people, they don't see their family as much. So to be able to connect with somebody and be in their personal space, and give them some joy and confidence to feel good about themselves, and have somebody listen as well. A lot of the time,
Yeah.
hairdressers are accidental counselors. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get to hear
it's,
all the
yeah,
stories, like a barber.
yes.
Hear all the stories. So I love that you've got like an oldies group for guys, like,
Yeah.
and there's about 5 of them. And you were saying that, sometimes someone brings over a trumpet, like you're doing all the hair, brings over a trumpet and a ukulele, and
They have
yeah.
a sing song, and it's free entertainment for me. It makes the day enjoyable, and
That'd
we
be
get a
so
laugh.
cool. God, why didn't I become a hairdresser? That could have been so much fun. I think the
It's
mobile
a
phone stuff I did.
Yeah, it's a fun but challenging job, and you are on your feet, working in a salon 9 to 5. It's, yeah, and mentally and physically exhausting. But I've always loved doing hair from a young age. I used to cut my brother's hair, and my two best friends at the primary school had long, beautiful red hair, so I'd always plait it and style
Yeah.
it up. And then when I got to a teenager, I was, experimenting with color and hairstyles and things. So it was and also, being dyslexic, I'm not very good at school. So doing a trade for me just seemed to come naturally. And that was something that I walked into a salon and they said, come back in 2 days' time and you can start. And I was like, woohoo.
Nice. Actually, speaking of trades, because my Jack is 14 and he can't wait to finish school and he wants to do a trade. But
Yeah.
recently he started to say, but you don't earn much money as an apprentice. And I go, so, but here's what you get to know. As an apprentice, you get paid to learn for 4 years.
Yeah.
If you want to be an accountant, you pay to learn for four
Yeah.
years. And so, as like a bricklayer or a whatever it is that you might want to be and test out, they pay you, a bit like the army, they pay you, you learn it, and so you get paid less, but you get paid and you don't owe money at the end. But an
Mm.
accountant owes, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't know what they owe at the end. But it goes for
Yeah.
4 years and they owe it. And
Yes.
they don't have a job at the other side. Whereas as an apprentice, you earn it and you have a job. And at the end of 4 years, you now, in effect, have learned enough through the practical skills that you could start your own business. An
Business. Yeah.
accountant doesn't have that. So they have to learn it unless they can get a job in an office, an accounting office, while they're learning,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, they have to go for a job and they still need to be in a job. In effect, they can work for themselves when they first leave, but they don't have the practical skills to work for themselves
That's
or the
yes.
technical skills. And technical to practical doesn't work the same way. I know there was a joke when I was growing up in Newcastle that they'd say, what's the difference between uni and TAFE or uni and college? Just trying to think, I was in Canberra, so we had CIT. But uni and TAFE.
Yeah.
Uni teaches you to wash your hands after you go to the toilet. TAFE teaches you not to pee on your hands. And the idea is uni teaches you the theory stuff, TAFE stuff, and TAFE teaches you the practical stuff.
Yeah.
In the end, you need some practical to go along with the theory. The theory is important, but you need the practical to go along with the theory. You need the life skills so that then
the life skills definitely more important with the life skills. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? Well, see, as a trade, as a hairdresser, you learned it all in the salon. In those first 4 years, you get paid an apprentice wage, but you learn how to do it. Because can you imagine going to just TAFE and learning it, and then going out by yourself and practically putting it in, and then hoping you don't get it wrong, and then you've got no one to talk to, going, oh my God, I think I've just done something. Like, can you just come and have a look and make sure that I'm on the right track here? Like, you've got to talk to. So you do need the practical skills of a group.
Oh, definitely. I learned so much more from my managers and my fellow, like there was 4 of us apprentices together. I learned so much more from them than I did just, being in the salon with all these other ladies, because everybody has their own technique and their own way of doing things. So to learn these skills and to watch people, you can combine that all into your own way of doing things. So it was much more educational that way than I would have flunked out at uni.
What an exciting world we live in. Well, thank you so much, McKaela, for jumping on to 14 minutes.
My pleasure.
It's been fun. It's not a one and done. It's not one of those, well, I've interviewed you now, we'll never see you again. It's really one of those, hey, let's come on out and see what you're up to these days. And I'm still trying to put a group together for juggling. So hey, maybe one day when you're out with the fellas and you're cutting hair, we could all jump on and we could see if the oldies, could play a bit of trumpet for us, or
I think they'd like that.
All learn to play the trumpet together. How fun would that be?
That would be cool.
You can cut hair. We'll learn to play the trumpet or do some juggling, and we can all jump online and have a bit of a chat, which would be fun.
That would be awesome.
That'd be fun. Get up and dance. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Good to see you.
You too.